I've always felt very linked to John Paul II. He became Pope the year that I was born, so that was something that I guess I was born and I felt like he has always been Pope. And he also comes from a town in Poland, Częstochowa, which is also the native town of one of my best friends. So I always felt close to him as if he were a friend. But I really got to know Pope John Paul II when I started going to World Youth Days. So I would say that Pope John Paul II touched my life in three particular ways. The first one was the first time that I went to World Youth Day, which was in Paris in 1997. And when we got there, one of the first messages that he gave us, the youth at that time, was, "Do not be afraid." It was an echo of a message that he had given many years before, but at that time, I was 18 years old, and for me it felt like I was beginning a part of my life, and he was giving me a personal message saying, "Do not be afraid of what the Lord will open up for you." So that was, it sort of felt like the beginning of my faith journey. So that was one moment. The second moment was also at World Youth Days in Toronto a few years later. I had the chance to go, and I witnessed his excellent quote that I keep with me close to my heart all the time, in which he said, "We are not the sum of our weaknesses and failures, but we are the sum of the Father's love and our real capacity to be the image of His Son, to be like the image of His Son." And again, to me, that felt like he is affirming who we are. He can see our dignity as children of God, and it reached directly to me. I work in the health sector, and so I deal a lot with the human body. And the third way in which John Paul II touched my life immensely happened a bit after his death, when I discovered the theology of the body, that of course he wrote many years ago. But in my work, not only with men and women, you know, he talks a lot about how men and women are connected in God, how we have our dignity as sexual beings and also as human beings that have the dignity of God. But also he himself witnessed it in his own body when he became older, and still he lived his life to the very end, being an example for us that we should live our lives from beginning to end, letting God be in control. And to this day, when I work in my field, I keep that in mind, to really be aware that all the doctors and nurses should take care of the dignity of the human person. So I'm really happy that he's a saint. I talk to him often, and I really hope that he continues to pray for us so that we are everything that the Lord wants us to be.